Hey everyone, it's Mrs. Faulkner, the crazy librarian, the LydiaTheLibraryLady.com. And I wanted to share with you a true story today, and this is called Esther the Wonder Pig. And Esther was a little tiny micro pig that was adopted by Steve Jenkins and Derek Walter, who are the authors of this book. And they thought she was going to be this tiny, tiny little micro pig. And she ended up growing up to be over 500 to 600 pounds. So she was not the tiny pig that they thought she was going to be. And I myself like pigs. I like elephants, I like pigs, I like cats. We all know that. And there are a few books that have pigs in it, so that you may know Charlotte's Web. That was one of my first books that I remember reading when I was probably in 3rd grade, and the first book that I ever cried to, because it was so heartbreaking between Charlotte and Wilbur. And then there's also Mercy Watson and Olivia, the circus pig. And then we also have a lot of famous pig characters like Miss Piggy, which was one of my favorite characters growing up. I had a whole collection of Miss Piggy things. Miss Piggy and Kermit were my Muppets that I just love to have around. And so Petunia Pig, Porky Pig, Piglet are some of the famous characters that you have probably heard of. And today with Esther, she started off as a sensation over social media. And then they came out with Esther the Wonder Pig, changing one world, one heart at a time. And then they wrote a second book, Happily Ever Esther, 2 men, a wonder pig, and their life-changing mission to give animals a home. And they ended up creating a animal farm sanctuary called Happily Ever Esther, Happily Ever Esther, the Farm Rescue. And we will see a few fun pictures of Esther, and I will also put up her website that she has on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. So we're going to find out about Esther the Wonder Pig, and the authors are her owners, Steve Jenkins, Derek Walter, and then their close friend Caprice Crane, and then illustrated by Corey Dorfield. And here on the first page, we have a real picture of Esther. And their famous quote is, "Let your smile change the world, but never let the world change your smile." And there you can see she is in the bathtub. Oh, but before I read the story, I have to put on my Miss Piggy, Esther the Wonder Pig glasses. And here is little Esther trying to find a way to sleep in the little dog bed. Esther was just a little piglet. She was rescued when she was 6 weeks old and arrived in a laundry basket, nestled among some towels. When she looked up at her dad's with those eyes and that smile, it was love. Look at how tiny she is. Esther moved into a little house with 2 dogs and 2 cats, and she was the smallest of the bunch. I mean, she was supposed to be a miniature pig after all. So right here, she's eating the chips, and the cats and the dogs really are not impressed with this little pig. Her dads didn't know any much information about mini pigs, so they had to learn quickly. And here they are both reading Pigs 101 and Owner's Manual, because they can tell that little Esther is going to be a handful. And at night, everyone slept in his or her own bed, and Esther slept in a collapsible cat house. So there's Esther, the 2 dogs, and the 2 cats. But 3 days later, she outgrew it. So she climbed on top of the cat house. And that seemed fine for a while. But then she outgrew that as well. And the 2 dads are thinking, she was supposed to be small enough to live in this little tiny cat house her whole life. So Esther's dads got her a dog bed, and then a bigger dog bed. And her dads were very confused. "We thought she was supposed to be a mini pig," they said. But when she looked up at her dads with those eyes and that smile, it was love. And they would all sit together and read The 3 Little Pigs. Esther liked to play outside in the pond. She splashed around and flipped over onto the rocks. She didn't mean to, but she scared all the fish. So there she is in her swimming suit, her funny little glasses, and the poor fish all go running because they've never seen a pig in their pond before. Esther also liked to help her dads with their gardening. She dug up the bed, uprooted the tulips, and ate all of the bulbs. They were delicious. So there they have the pretty tulips, and here comes Esther, snorting with her snout, digging up all the dirt and eating all the flowers. And then when Esther's dad saw the mess that she'd made, they weren't very happy. But Esther looked up at her dads with those eyes and that smile, and it was love. I mean, how could they be mad at such a cute little face like that? Esther had the most fun at bath time. She loved to get everything wet. She even knew how to make her own bubbles. I'm not sure which area the bubbles are coming from, but she was having a good time. And she had water all over the floor. And as she grew bigger, so did her splashes. Even the dogs are shaking because they're so wet. Sometimes when her dads weren't even looking, Esther sneaked into the kitchen and stole snacks. She got into the freezer and ate all of the ice pops. She used her snout to open the cabinets, and she ate all the cookies. Once she even broke the door off of the oven. That was not on purpose. So she seemed to wear fancy little dresses and hairdos, and she would go into the kitchen whenever she was hungry, which was all the time, and help herself. Esther's dad did not like this at all. But when she looked up at her dad's with those eyes and that smile, it was love. Look at the mess that she made. Food all over the floor, all over her face. The freezer is open. But how could she be mad at a face like that? Esther kept growing and growing and growing. So she started sleeping on a kid's mattress. Surely that would be big enough. But it wasn't. She outgrew that too. Then she got a single bed. And then a twin bed. And then she even got her own bedroom. She tried to sleep on a little baby mattress. She outgrew that. And then a big kid mattress, and she outgrew that. And pretty soon she needed her own room. But the cats and dogs seemed to want to take naps in there as well. The little house was starting to feel very crowded. What was comfortable for 2 dads, 2 dogs, and 2 cats was way too small for a 600-pound pig. So Esther's dads did the only thing that they could think of. What do you think the dads are thinking that the only option they have left is? Well, Esther does not look very happy. They moved to a big farm where there was lots of room and where they could rescue even more animals. And this is where the animal sanctuary started. Even in a big brand new home, everyone would gather together to tell stories or watch TV. But sometimes Esther would spread across the couch and nobody else had a comfortable place to sit. But when Esther looked up at her dads with those eyes and that smile, it was love. Then one day, Esther was not in her room. She wasn't in the kitchen, and she wasn't in the garden. I mean, how do you lose a 600-pound pig? Where could she possibly have gone? Esther's dad searched the whole house, but their pig was missing. They were so worried. They ran all over the neighborhood searching for her, but she was nowhere in sight. So they're running to all the neighbors, passing out signs, "Lost pig, lost pig." But there really isn't a spot anywhere that I can see that would be a good hiding spot for a 600-pound pig. So what if she was so much bigger if they had ever expected? So what if she outgrew her beds in record time? So what if she scared the fish or ruined the garden? She was their girl. She was part of the family. And families come in all shapes and sizes. So even though she was taking over all of their room, look at everybody, the cats, the dogs, the dads, they're all worried. They're all sad. Where could Esther be? After hours and hours, a neighbor called out from her front door. "Excuse me, are you missing a pig?" the kind lady asked. And with great relief, Esther's dads followed the lady into her backyard, where Esther was happily eating all the apples that she could reach. Good thing she didn't eat this pie that was in the window. She was just interested in getting to those apples. "We're so sorry," Esther's dad said to the kind lady. "She's a very naughty pig." But Esther looked up at her dads with those eyes and that smile, and it was love. But from then on, Esther's dads made sure their front gate was locked. She was not able to get out. And there she's got her cape and her crown and winking her eye. And here we have Esther the Wonder Pig, the true story. So in the summer of 2012, Steve Jenkins and Derek Walter really did adopt Esther, thinking that she was an adorable mini pig. She is adorable, but there's nothing mini about her. Even though her dads were told that she would be fine in a normal house, after 3 years of growing, Esther weighs in at around 650 pounds. That's about as small and heavy as a female polar bear. Steve and Derek bought a farm and opened the Happily Ever Esther Farm Sanctuary, where they live today. And on the farm, Esther has plenty of space to roam comfortably. She spends her days rolling in the mud, playing dress up, and hanging out with her animal friends, many of which were also rescued by Steve and Derek, including dogs, chickens, and a duck named Moby. You can see more of Esther's life at EstherTheWonderPig.com, and I will put that on the website as well, so you can go on and look. And here she is, all dressed up with a coat and a hat. Here she is with her funny glasses and a little hat and a wig. And here she's giving big piggy kisses. And here are a few more pictures of Esther eating pizza, obviously been playing in the mud, and taking a nap with one of her brothers, one of the dogs. And that is the end of Esther the Wonder Pig. So on the cover, we have the front of Esther. And on the back, it says, "Read the true story of a little pig who grew and grew and grew, and her wonderful parents who grew to love her just the same." And there's the end. The front of Esther, the back of Esther. And then there are 2 chapter books that came out before they decided to do the children's book. Esther the Wonder Pig and Happily Ever Esther. And pigs are considered to be dirty, but they really like to be clean. And their noses are full of cartilage, and it's very strong with muscles, and that is how they dig up the dirt. And as we saw Esther, she would eat all of her dad's flowers in the garden. So that was how they have their muscles in their nose to be able to grunt and dig up the dirt. Right, Ziggy? Ziggy would like to say hi. Come on, Ziggy. Come on. Say hi to everybody. He liked to hear this story today too, didn't you? And he wonders why I have pig glasses on. Okay. Does Ziggy want to try on the pig glasses? Oh, look at Ziggy. He's a star. You are a goofball. And that is the end of our story today. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and we will see you next time. Take care.